All right. The Roundtable Friends. Did we hit the music yet?
Yeah. Sorry, it was just quiet.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Flores, and you're back. You are back, I hope, because we are on this wonderful live stream on the web. And it's just amazing that we can be doing this kind of thing. I tell people it reminds me of the 1950s when TV was brand new and it was all live. And they look at me and go, yeah, I believe you. I think you were here in the 1950s. And I was, I think. I was just a little bitty baby. Grew up on black and white TV if I was lucky. At any rate, I'm Dave Flores, and I've got two guests with me here. I want to let you know that David Zamaya is here, and also Pavel Sfera. And welcome, gentlemen, to the Round Table Friends.
Thank you for having me.
Well, great to be here with you.
And this is what we call it. You know, this round table here, we had to look far and wide to find this thing. And then it ended up being really an inspiration for us. So at any rate, welcome everybody out there in YouTube land. And we're going to start with some North County news. The North County, as you know, has, what, 1.3 million plus residents. And there's no video or, you know, TV coverage at all in the area. And yet we have the big Highway 78 stretching from Oceanside to Escondido, and, you know, all these people. And what we're trying to do is just bring you local people, places, and things, that kind of thing. So I hope this will be an informative show for you. And it will be. It will be. What I'm going to do is start with just a few news items, and the boys here can pitch in if they want. First thing we wanted to cover is the SDG&E new electric grid scheme, or whatever you want to call it. It's up on the screen for you to see. We've been hearing about, you know, rate hikes and this sort of thing, and of course the cost of energy is going up. By the way, gasoline was what, $4 today a gallon?
Just about. Yeah.
And I mean, it's just,
I paid $3.75 over at the Arco off of El Norte Parkway, and that was $3.19 last week.
Exactly. Yeah. Costco was like $3.30 a couple of days ago. I haven't been back there yet.
Man, it's going up quick, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just rode downtown San Diego. It was like $4.50.
$4.50?
Downtown San Diego.
My. Well, they're saying it should be $5 by summer.
Yeah. It's probably in Rancho Santa Fe. It's already $5.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they can afford it, sir. No, but here's the thing. I think the gasoline hopefully is going to settle down, considering the fact that supposedly we are producing more in the United States now, and we're actually a surplus producer. So we're exporting oil, and that's a big change from a few years ago. At any rate, so let's hope that those settle down a little bit. But talking about SDG&E, our electric provider, the grid, there's a new scheme out, if you want to call it that, and what it involves is the standard plan, the time of use plan, and of course there's a special for the wind and solar people, and also electric vehicles are provided for. But here's the scheme. Okay, the standard plan, which is just by default, If I don't do anything, I'm on the standard plan. And this is how it works. There are tier levels that happen on your monthly statement. So as you use more electricity going into the month, you move up into another tier, another bracket. And that price is higher than the previous bracket. And if you keep going, next tier, next level, boom, 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 you're going up to the higher rates. That's the standard. But if you want to be thrifty, you can do a time of use plan. And what that means is between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. is when there's the higher rate in effect. So the idea there is I got to do laundry, I better wait till after 9, right? Of course, I'm lucky if I get to do laundry at all. But yeah, it's bad. You can tell. This is a black shirt for a reason, folks.
I smelled something here.
Yeah, well, and you know all the dust settles in. But basically, the idea there is between 4 and 9. If you want to save money on your bill, you're going to have to be very conservative. And of course, that's the time you're cooking dinner, you're doing dishes, you know, whatever. I mean, especially with the families and the kids around. And David, you got 4 daughters, huh?
Yep. That's the TV time and dinner time.
There you go.
Yeah.
So how are you going to manage it?
Eat out.
Hey, he's a restaurant reviewer too, right?
Don't be home between those times and don't use electricity. No, you just got to be watchful what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a tough call.
The rates are going up.
Yeah. Although I did have a friend that just got through this rate, and he went from $100 to $25.
How did you do that?
I wanted to find out.
I think he chopped one of the wires.
Exactly. He did something, you know. But he's a single person in a house, so I don't know how he managed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take a second.
What about you, Pavel?
I live a pretty simple life, and kind of conservative in the way of minimalism. I work from home. I'm an artist, a musician, and a humanitarian. So I'm working on some projects. So most of my utilities are plug it in my computer, and that's about it. At night, I don't use any light. I have a couple of LED lights that are solar lit during the day or solar powered during the day, and then have them at night. Just real practical, simple stuff. And I find the more minimal I live my life, the more comfortable I feel living that way. So I don't watch TV. I haven't watched much TV since literally 1987. Although I am a news junkie and I do a lot of research online. So, but if I don't have to, once my computer is full, then I just unplug it and don't keep the situation cycled. The other utilities that we have at the house, I try to keep them running efficiently. For example, the refrigerator and the freezer, I keep them well stocked because once
because it stores the coldness, right? And it makes it work less.
That's what
Good
it does.
idea.
And I think, okay, if I'm going to eat something, I'm not opening the doors and deciding, because I already know what's already in there. Right. And then I have things I've made and things the food I make in big portions, and then I store them, and then I eat leftovers. It's because I like my own cooking.
A man after my own heart.
Yes.
Yeah. This guy knows.
It's just practical. It's absolutely practical. It's simple. That way, I enjoy cooking. I enjoy a lot of these things, but I also am very conscientious about expending unnecessary utility.
Good idea.
Right.
That's great. Now, they're also covering the electric vehicles, but what they're saying there is that they're giving them a lower price during the off-peak hours. So even the electric vehicles have to kind of watch when they charge.
Sure.
They want to stay out of that 4 to 9 zone.
Right.
The wind and the solar owners can still get credit if they generate more than they consume, and they do get a billing credit for that.
Wow.
So they're still provided for. And then last but not least is the Eco Choice, where customers can sign up for either 50% or 100% choice of using energy that comes only from renewable sources. Now, SDG&E helps to propagate those sources, and most of them are solar. Now, the commercial sector, as soon as this came out, they all jumped in. So they're on, right now it's a moratorium there. No more of the commercial users, because they jumped in knowing they could save money that way. So at any rate, they're on a waiting list, but most customers. Now, we did show those choices for everybody. I just wanted to run by that one more time. Just take a quick look and go to sdge.com, and you can get more information. So we're going to move on now. Let's move on to another story. This time, this is my special thing here. Okay. Now we're going to go to Cruising Grand, baby. Cruising Grand.
That's right.
Now that's
Classic.
we went, yeah, love that show, and it is one of the most longest running and well-known car shows in the United States. We're trying to clarify all the details there, but we do know that it's very very popular in the North County, and of course a lot of people will come up from San Diego or from Temecula area. They come from all around to enjoy. It's a family event. It's fun. We went there last week on their debut. They're in their 21st year.
Wow,
21st.
that's great news.
Yeah. Well,
Good
it's a
for them.
20th anniversary, but yet they're saying they're beginning the 21st year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought it was. Had
We'll
a
have
little
to
more time
clarify
left
that.
on it, but yeah.
Okay.
We were talking to some of the car owners there, and by the way, on this channel, you'll see besides this show, there are some clips there that you can click on and see some of the owners there. So there's a little debate between 21st and 20th. We'll have to get to the bottom of that one. At any rate, so we want to remind you, that's Fridays, starts at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Try to get there early for, there's a lot of city-provided parking, by the way. So it's a great event, and you can go on budget.
Yeah, there's not much to spend money on it. If you come, pick up something at the restaurants there, or just bring something with you too. So.
Great. The people watch. I love the classic cars. Absolutely, just love the people who just kept these cars. I grew up with a lot of those things.
Yeah. Well, they always have.
I did.
Yeah, they have the car clubs that come in. So every Friday is a different car club there.
Oh, is that right?
Like one day could be all Mustangs, could be a Corvette's another one. So they got different parts. This I think is on Broadway where they have that one.
Right.
By the old Drapers. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, I love being there.
Love that place.
Yeah, it's really great.
It's and it's good family entertainment.
Right,
You know,
and the
it's fun.
street itself is really well done. I got
Well,
a city
they-
planning degree from San Diego State,
Right.
and one of the things we've learned about bringing people together, especially in certain areas like downtowns, is really make it pedestrian oriented. If
Yeah,
people will walk,
absolutely.
right, they can park somewhere else, but if they can walk somewhere, they'll do it. The people
Right.
will gather. If you give them reasons and accommodations to gather, oftentimes we will.
Right. And they just removed all the trees, eucalyptus that were down the middle of the aisle, or the middle of the street. So it's very visible now.
You know, I hadn't noticed that. I thought there was something different.
It's more light.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even notice that either.
Yeah.
Wow, I
this
would have
past year.
noticed that.
Yeah.
interesting.
Unusual.
It's a day and night from what it was before.
Right.
You know.
So that's congratulations to the Downtown Business Association of Escondido. We love you. You're doing a great job, and the city for cooperating as well.
Well, Steve Waldron's was the person that's behind that's been keeping
Right.
this thing alive.
Yeah, and he
Fantastic.
runs a shirt shop right there on Grand, and I'd like to also chime in on that. I agree with that. All righty, so let's move on a little bit now. Here's another story. Now this one is all about the Chargers. They left. They left us.
Well, they were never in Escondido, were they?
Well, I guess you're right. Well, maybe they bought an expensive home in Escondido. No, but yeah, the Chargers, you know. So at any rate, so what did we have? Well, we had this experiment with the AAF, right?
Oh, God.
Okay, and we had the San Diego Fleet. And check this out, they got up to 20,000 people in the stadium.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty good. And they're also the #1 AAF team that sells merchandise. Now, unfortunately, there was a squabble of some kind between the investors, etc. And they were going to do their playoffs just 2 games from now. And the Fleet had to win 2 in a row to get into the playoff. But at any rate, it just kind of stopped. There was a moratorium or just a cessation of funding, if you will. Now, the NFL had something to do with that because one of the major investors wanted to tie in with the NFL and use it as sort of a, rookie type, in other words, let's cooperate with the NFL, look at these players and that kind of thing, and then some of them could go to the NFL. There was a squabble in the middle of that. It stopped. So San Diego Fleet is gone. It done sailed that ship.
The fleet?
The fleet has
or they
fleed. Yeah, good point. Yeah, they done fleed. But the reason I'm mentioning that is for all you Charger heartbreaker people, we lost the Fleet. So no more football for us for now, okay? So I think we'll will survive.
So what do we have? Just the Padres and the Gulls.
Well, okay. What's
Yeah.
the most winningest professional team in San Diego? San Diego Sockers.
San Diego State.
San Diego Sockers.
Oh, the
San Diego
soccer.
Sockers have like 8 championships,
Wow.
and it's not American football, but it's still football.
It's a great sport. It really is. And, you know, it's there's not a lot of channels that cover that.
Yeah.
But if you get the high def and, you know, and you're really seeing the right stuff, it's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, it really
a lot
is.
of ground to cover there. I love that. Okay, so we'll move on now. The fleet's gone. We know that. We have another thing we want to mention about the Boys and Girls Club of San Diego. This Friday on April 12th, they have a 21 and over event. It's up on the screen for you. It's called Uncorked for a Cause.
Okay.
Have you ever been uncorked?
A few times.
I would say
In traffic?
I don't remember being corked first.
Well, as it implies, it has to do with wine, okay? Uncorked for a cause. Now, this is the second time they've done this. Now, here's how it works. I think this is interesting. We have a map up for you to show you this. How does it work? Teams of 1, 2, or 3 people bring 3 bottles of some wine, which is a domestic red, okay? So you have these teams, they bring the 3 bottles of wine. 1 bottle goes to the jackpot, 2 bottles go to the tasting pool, which is not a swimming pool filled with wine.
Hey.
Okay, but it is a tasting pool. So what they do is the participants will blindly taste each team's wine and then vote for their favorite. So the top 3 teams win the jackpot. To give you an idea, last year's first place winner got over 50 bottles of wine to take home. Pretty good investment.
That's a lot of wine.
That's a lot of wine.
That's a lot of wine.
Now, the other thing, too, is that this is within walking distance. Depends how much you taste first, right? But it's within walking distance of over 40 restaurants. So you can go to this event, do the wine tasting, help the Boys and Girls Club, and then walk to your destination for dining and having a nice evening. And then, of course, if you get uncorked, then you'll probably want to call Uber or somebody to take you home. Uber, I was going to say. At any rate, so we wanted to promote that because that's a good cause, the Boys and Girls Club. Don't you agree?
They are great. All the Boys and Girls Clubs in North County.
They are, yeah. Vista, we did a quiz show for the Vista Boys and Girls Club last season, and that was fun. There was a lot of kids there, and you know, I can plug Quiz Show Mania that way, and that was just I tried to sneak it in there. At any rate, one last thing here before we go to break, and then we're going to talk in depth with our guests, and that is small business. More than 80% of the small businesses that are around the Highway 78 corridor in North County expect to grow financially over the next 24 months, which is a good sign. Now, if you guys are looking at our screen, there you are. The traffic, as you see, look at all that traffic on Highway 78. Amazing. It's a busy, busy road. But 85% of the small businesses in cities like Carlsbad, Escondido, and Vista all expect to see financial growth in the near future. Half of those businesses also expect to add employees over the next 2 years. So that bodes well for the North County for economic growth. Right. And we want to encourage you to use small business when we can. We should be shopping. I mean, I love the mom and pop stuff, actually. You know, you don't always have to go to the big box to get value and to help the local people, the local businesses in our communities who hire people, and they're paying taxes, and they're, you know, the small businessman is a champion. By the way, it's a driver of the U.S. economy overall.
Right.
Something like 70%. That's pretty good. So, at any rate, I wanted to plug our North County show that we're going to be doing, which is called Small Business Roundtable. The Small Business Roundtable. And what this will be is it will be small businesses around the North County. We're going to sit around the table like we are now. We're going to talk about their businesses. We're going to talk about their ideas, what motivates them, and how they serve That's really important. So we'd like you to visit us at theroundtablefriends.com, theroundtablefriends.com. Just give us your name of your business, anything you'd like to add, and we'll contact you for a future event on Small Business Roundtable. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Mountains in New York are part of what larger mountain region?
Appalachian.
Appalachian is right. Yellow's got that right. What war was known as the War of Independence? Red.
The Revolutionary War.
That's right. American Revolution. That's it. Was Jesse James a woman's rights activist or a colonist or a...
Or a what?
Go ahead.
Colonist, the second one.
No. I didn't finish. Go ahead.
Bank robber.
Bank Robert's right. That was the one coming up. I didn't finish the list. Mountains in New York are
Quiz Show Mania is San Diego's best kept secret in live entertainment. Quiz Show Mania. Great for shopping malls, schools, company parties, special events, church groups, team building, and seminars, because it's fun for all ages. Quiz Show Mania will work with you every step of the way to customize your experience and value.
Which of Earth's 5 oceans is the smallest?
Indian?
No.
Red?
No. Arctic.
Quiz Show Mania is San Diego's best kept secret in live entertainment. Quiz.
We're back. Well, we have the intro with the soundtrack. There shouldn't be. Sorry.
Right.
Got the noise canceling. We're good. We're good. Yeah, go ahead. Well, of course it'll. All righty. So we're back. Yeah, we were going a little bit wild there with Quiz Show Mania. Of course, that's a big plug for having fun. Family events. QuizShowMania.com is the sponsor of the show. I'd like you to visit that website. You're going to see all kinds of setups and fun that goes on with that. And then we also have RCVideoProductions.com, Rich Cruz, who does great work. And we'd like you to visit his site. You can take a look at all kinds of examples of his work in video. So we're back now with our main guests here. And what I'd like to do is we have David Zamaya over here on my left, Pavel Severa here on my right.
Hello, everybody.
They've been kind enough to hang in here on our live webcast. So, David, I want to start with you. Now, I understand that you were running for mayor of North County. Now, you need to explain that a little bit because I understand all these other cities have their own little mayors.
Well, you know, North County has 10 different cities that are incorporated. And like you said, what's the population? 1.2, 1.3 million. The cities don't really collaborate in the digital world. I mean, because they all have their focus on what they're doing for their people that live there, residents, and everything else. So, I specialize in digital marketing. So we're launching this platform called My San Diego North County, and the whole purpose is how do you promote the region of North County. Well, I'm thinking, and one day I was like, okay, you know, running for mayor, I'm not really politically active. I'm supporting all the small businesses, and I love social media. I go, well, nobody else is mayor in North County. Why can't I be it? So I went ahead and go, okay, I'm going to start doing this. Told a couple of friends. Then I went and talked to a couple of political consultants that I know, just to make sure I wouldn't ruffle any feathers. And so then the Times Advocate picked up the story on me and ran a front page story. And so I softened it up by calling it the digital mayor of North County.
Good idea.
So that way you don't have the political
Yeah, you don't want to get the
you
friction
know?
going.
But the whole idea is I'm an advocate for North County, especially the small business, the nonprofits, the community.
Great.
So that's why My San Diego North County is this idea that I came out of, is now let's build something just like you're doing this channel,
Right.
promoting the community. I'm out there in the same way, but using social media and web. But I want to go out there and talk and meet businesses that are in North County, artists in North County, nonprofits in North County, Cruising Grand,
Yes.
the street markets, everything else that's happening.
Right.
So if I could have a business card that says David Zamaya Mayor, why not?
Why not?
So it's just out of the box thinking. Again, there's nothing political about it. You know,
it's a great way to sort of bring attention
Yeah.
to what you're talking about. Which,
have some fun. I mean, if you know, you work hard, but you got to play harder.
Yeah.
that's true. Now, what about the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce? Is that you're involved in that?
Yeah, well, I've been on the board of Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and actually I had an internship back when I was at San Diego State. When they first started in San Diego in 1990, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yeah.
But they've always been very focused in San Diego, so they don't do as much as they could do in North County because they have no resources. It's 100% volunteer.
Right.
So, I mean, you only can go so far without having somebody paid, right?
It's true.
So I've been really advocating North County. So 4 years ago, we came up with this idea. Let's build a business expo for North County. Yeah. Since there's all these cities, and Carlsbad does a business expo, Oceanside does one, Vista does one, Fallbrook does one, but nobody's really focusing again on this North County region.
Right.
You know, there's plenty of business expos in San Diego. Why can't we have one in North County?
Good point.
So we came up with the idea, hey, get a couple of vendors to help us out with some expenses, invite the masses that we can.
Right.
So last year we moved up to a 14,000 square foot facility at the Center of the Arts in Escondido. And in a 2-week marketing plan, we ended up with 400 or 500 people in the door.
Wow.
We actually had an art exhibit of North County art.
Great.
And we had a couple of food sampling, but we had 40 vendors that came in and a workshop too on procurement. So we're going to do the same thing all over again. So right now there's tables available. I give all your viewers will get a free pass on if you go to Eventbrite. I got a free promo code, just North County SD. You go on there, Eventbrite.
Okay, what website again?
It's it's a long one. We'll probably put it on the screen or put it in the comments because I'd have to read it to you. It's, you know, I'll go. Let's see,
Yeah, I know.
X17943. No, just kidding. No, it's an Eventbrite. If you go to Eventbrite, and just search North County Business Expo, you'll find it.
Yeah, Eventbrite. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting business in itself, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, come on out and join us. But you know, the whole idea is let's bring North County together.
Yeah.
You guys share the love.
Hey, you bet.
And
Okay.
as your mayor, I proclaim that.
Thank you, sir.
It's a good moniker.
There you go.
Very
mayor.
good.
Yeah.
North County mayor.
Yeah, we got deputy mayors already that want to jump on board.
Guys, dude, you got a good idea.
I think so.
What if it would work for Congress? No, I don't think
No.
so.
Yeah.
I could try it.
There's
but-
no lobbying here.
Yeah, no.
Sure there
We don't even have a lobby. We have a little lobby out there. All righty.
got 40.
Okay. Well, thanks, David. And then Pavel Sfera,
Yes, sir.
you have an interesting. You do music and you do, as you said, humanitarian projects and other things. But here we're going to talk about aquaponics?
Yes, sir,
Is that right?
aquaponics,
So
right.
tell me, what is aquaponics?
Aquaponics is the concept of growing food without soil. You're taking water that has aquaculture in there, let's say fish. In this particular weather, we use warm water fish like tilapia. They will breathe, they'll pee, they'll poop in the water, and that water has all that bacterium, but that bacteria is called nitrate.
Right.
And so as that water gets pumped into these grow beds or little other tanks with little flotillas or such with plants growing in them, the roots will feed off of the bacteria that's in the water.
Okay.
So that water, so the roots of the bacteria, the roots that eat that bacteria will essentially kind of clean the water to some degree, and that water gets transferred back into the fish tank, so they get a cleaner source of the water. So you're really creating a whole cyclical system of food sourcing while you're benefiting the growth of the plants. And if you're growing indoors, let's say, where you have greenhouse situations, in this kind of weather, you can have literally 12 seasons of lettuce growing a year using essentially the same water, because you're keeping the water. So
okay.
through the plant
Yeah.
usage and through some evaporation, you're using sometimes probably 5% of the water. So with the concerns that we have with drought, with climate change and things of the sort, so my focus on the humanitarian element has been to take these concepts not just in third world countries where sustainable food sourcing, healthy food sourcing is important. The capacity for people to kind of essentially feed themselves, like the adage of teach a man how to fish and he'll eat for the rest of his life, as opposed to you just giving him fish.
Right.
Right. So I was working with an organization years ago, and we were going down to some of these orphanages down in Ensenada. We were going every other month. We were going 3 or 4 times a year. My big thing, coming from a big family, also being an immigrant, having wonderful people help my family along as we try to establish ourselves in the States, really was food. Food,
Yeah.
People have to eat food. And
Right.
when we're talking about food, I'm talking about nutritious food, not just stuff you can pull off a shelf at one of the gas stations. That's not food. If you can't read what's on the back of the label, chances are your body can't respond to it in a way that is necessary.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
If you can't pronounce
Right,
it,
right.
chances
Don't
are you
right.
can't digest it right.
Typically, right. So I was trying to incorporate some other ideas. I thought, okay, maybe a greenhouse and growing some food there, but then you have issues with water, issues with soil, soil conditioning, things of the sort. So aquaponics was an idea that has been around for more than 4,500 years that we know of.
Right.
The Mayans have used it, the
Right.
Greeks have used it, and so it's a very simple process, actually.
Gosh, it makes sense.
It makes all the rules. Now, if we can illustrate also with some of the photographs that I've sent Richard here to show on the screen, there, you don't have to just have a greenhouse system specifically built. You can actually grow on top of industrial buildings.
Wow.
Right. And you have considerations with, let's say, weight. You can do all kinds of elements to incorporate a structural system where you're utilizing the sun in maximum capacity, pumping water either up there, using solar power systems to generate the kind of electricity that you need. So it's almost a complete encapsulating and self-efficient
Like an
mechanism.
ecosystem.
Absolutely.
It's just-
We have 2 organizations here in San Diego, North County, because we're a North County group here.
Right.
One is called Eco Life Conservation. I volunteered with them. They're based in San Marcos. They have a 5,000 square foot greenhouse that is off of Deer Springs Road. If you go on 15 freeway north, you have Deer Springs. If you look immediately to your right on the subtle hill there, you'll see a greenhouse system.
Okay.
They've built a system there for aquaponics, and they, from what I gather, every harvesting, which are 30 days, 35 days, they will donate the food to the food bank. And
That's great.
Right.
and also there's a wonderful organization here in Vista called Solutions for Change.
Great people.
Great group of people. But they've got an acre of land that they mostly use, and they're growing about 250,000 pounds of food a year.
Wow.
Right, on a quarter acre of land. And I
That's a
think
lot.
that they can do even more. I mean, it's a great organization. I think they can actually even do even more. But take their idea that they're using there to create a healthy food source. It isn't that people just aren't getting food, they're not getting healthy food.
Yeah.
You know, we have huge concerns,
Right.
you know, even the future in the United States, if not other countries in the world, with obesity. It's not that they're just eating too much. It's what they're eating that their body's not being able to process
Right.
and pass through.
Right.
So stop me anytime if you want to have any questions.
No,
asked.
no,
Sorry,
I was
'cause
just- you just
I've had this conversation.
No,
for
no.
you.
I was just my mind
yeah.
was being filled with Jack in the Box tacos.
Right.
And you know, there's a teenager there that I had talked to his mom, and he eats 6 Jack in the Box tacos
Right.
a day for breakfast.
Wow.
6, count them. And I mean, makes you wonder if he's getting nutrition.
Well, you know, I love tacos.
Right.
I live in northern Mexico, also known as Southern California. And I'm a fan of the Mexican culture. I grew up with it. My Spanish is pretty decent. but also the food source itself. Moderation is crucial. I think is my concerns these days in light of what's happening with climate change. Also how food is growing and how it's not growing. If you see what's happened recently for example, up in the crazy storms we've had, the winter storms, flooding. Now the snow is melted and flooding plains in Nebraska and in Iowa because of the snow melting, and the water's got to go where it naturally goes, and they're flooding plains there, and also bring in pollutants. They're bringing all kinds of troubles in the way that we would normally grow. I'm a horticulturist just as well. I'm finding some of my plants aren't growing in the right times of seasons that they're supposed to grow. So I'm thinking, well, how do you address this? And sustainable food sourcing is absolutely crucial, and I believe that they will have a huge impact in the way we get along as a society. When people are struggling for food,
long-term implications.
Absolutely. When we know what's happened in Syria, for example, I don't want to get too far into depth here, but this really, you found a lot of farmers, struggling with the drought, so they came into their cities, creating a huge burden on the infrastructure there and the competitions there. Need I do the math and look at the troubles we're having now? So I think aquaponics can be used as a mitigating structure for a lot of cultures. I had a discussion with the former president of the United Nations about this years ago.
Oh, did you see that?
I did see that.
You said aquaponics, and it did that number.
And we talked in length about sustainable food sourcing, which is crucial for a lot of us. And we're not just talking about food sourcing, sustainable food sourcing.
That's the key there.
Even though I'm an omnivore, I keep leaning towards vegetarianism only because I get older, my body just can't process a lot of things. I tend to eat in smaller portions. My stomach has acclimated over the years. I have a big family, and they're big. And it's because we love to eat. We're a European family, and then we gather around the table. And
tradition.
Food is family, right?
But
it's true.
But we have this idea that because it's plentiful, we can partake thereof. And I think that's a misunderstanding. When I was living in Italy years ago, when I was touring with a band out there, I found that people ate in small portions, and you didn't see a lot of big people when I was living in Italy. And I had fresh fruit, fresh vegetables every day. Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say some of the Asian cultures too.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
they're not. You don't find a lot of that.
No, they don't do big portions.
Well, the trick I've always been told is to eat small portions throughout the day.
Don't
just eat 3 meals.
Absolutely.
Eat 4 or 5
I don't even understand the idea of eating 3 meals. Right. I think if you're eating healthy meals, you need about 1,800 calories per day. As you start getting, if you get lower and lower of that intake, you're going to find issues with the body. The body needs minerals, body needs vitamins, body needs the roughage, body needs food of color like orange, green, red. We need these things because that's how we have, as a human species, been around for a couple of hundred years, thousands of years rather, have been noshing and eating off the land. Now we don't. We don't know where our food is. A big problem with global warming or climate change really is coming from the fact that we are carnivorous. We're omnivorous, but oftentimes carnivorous. If you fly over the United States, you see a lot of land during the day. You see a lot of land, but you're growing corn that's not consumable for humans, and soybeans. Who eats soybeans?
Oh, that's my favorite.
In general, but these are all for animals that we're really setting up this system. And I think in general, with the aquaponic system, you can make small little 10 by 10 greenhouses that are available to people. You can do rooftops, and you can do huge commercial structures.
I can tell Pavel has a lot to say.
A lot to say. That I do.
And I was going to guess that too. But
I get that impression. But the thing is, he's got a great point about this. Aquaponics. This is, I hope it's something that everybody can learn from and understand. And I want to thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you for having me here.
And we're going to have, I have a feeling we're going to talk some more with both of you guys, because you guys are very passionate about what you're doing, and you're diverse. And you've got 4 daughters.
4, yes.
And you still have your hair.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, I'll take the hair any color as long as it's still there. Okay.
That's great.
Good point, okay. Well, at any rate, so it is time for us to kind of stop feeding the beast of all the bytes and the kilobytes and all the other stuff that goes on the internet. And we thank you so much for joining us on Round Table Friends. And don't forget, we are Wednesdays at 7 p.m. live. And then, of course, we archive on the channel so you can always watch it later. I'm Dave Flores. And again, thanking our guests, David Zamaya and Pavel Svera, for joining us tonight on the Round Table Friends.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Thank you.